I believe that we're going to die and we don't know when, and that we live better when we remember that. The idea for WeCroak came out of meditation practice, actually. Death contemplation practice is actually very old. People have been doing it for thousands of years. And one day I stumbled upon the Bhutanese formulation that to be a happy person, just remind yourself you're going to die 5 times a day. You know, a lot of the other ones I'd read about were like sit over a corpse and watch it rot as you meditate for days, and that didn't seem like something I could do in my New York City life. Sorry about that. It's a really simple app. Notifications happen at any time. Don't forget you're going to die. Swipe to see the quote. And then when you swipe, there's a quote from anyone who we thought said something wise about death or mortality. And then there's nothing else to do. And you decide what to do next with that in mind, that you're going to die. It's very natural to want to forget that you're going to die. Don't do it. It's very dangerous. When we forget we're going to die, we get caught up in things that aren't true, because we are going to die. And we spend most of our lives being separated from what makes us happy because we're hunting, we're seeking it. Or, we're constantly reliving the past and, resentments and wrongs because we don't remember that our time is precious and we still have this moment. And my rule is, if I'm really in a stressed out place and it catches me, I come down here and look at the water. It kind of helps. The whole thing came about because I rented my extra room to Ian Thomas, who's an iOS developer, and he loved the idea. And he would make the code happen, and I would find all the quotes and tell people about it. Over 60,000 people in over 108 countries have decided to go on this journey and remind themselves 5 times a day. Every time you see a red dot pulse, someone has opened the app because they just received a reminder that they're going to die.
He's excited.
He hasn't been walked today, has he?
No, I walked in really briefly.
Time is limited and it's precious. The idea is just by looking at that and by holding it close, you're going to make decisions closer to your values.
Up.
And of course, it's just a randomized algorithm, but sometimes a quote will just happen at a moment when it reminds you to look up. Well, we're all gonna die. So the WeCroak app is for everyone, from teenagers using it in high school to people in their 90s. And I love hearing from people saying hey, this gave me the courage to do this dream. So, it's applicable wherever you are in life because it's always true.
I heard about the WeCroak app on the 10% Happier podcast, and Dan Harris interviewed Hansa Bergwall in March, and while I was listening to the podcast, I'd started downloading the app, and I've been using it ever since. When I first got the very first one, I just laughed because it's so funny to get a reminder saying, don't forget you're gonna die. After using the app for several months, I was thinking about death more, and I just had a lot more thoughts about it, and I wanted to talk about it with other people. So over the summer, I held a death party. My friends came over and we had conversations about death. The idea is that it's a big talk party as opposed to small talk, so small talk was not allowed, and when people came, they were very eager to talk about death.
I do a lot of communications and PR, mostly for food companies. And I teach a little bit of yoga, which is also more of a passion sort of thing than the main way I support myself. I love doing that. I don't think that technology has changed death so much. I think it's certainly changed life a lot. There's also the common first reaction that 5 times a day is too much. But we know that most people are in our app for less than 2 minutes a day. We have to consider how we use technology more conscientiously, ethically, morally, because how we interact with it has huge repercussions.
I think that a lot of people who might think about the app and think, I don't want to think about death, that's scary, but it's really the opposite. It's really life affirming.
How are you going to live your values? How are you going to, be honest, have integrity? That you have this long-term vision, you might not get it. You might die first, and you have to be proud of every step you take along the way. So many people arrive to death situations having never even spoken about what their last wishes might be. When we don't remember our time is limited and precious, we tend to waste it on things we don't care about. You can do it with drugs and alcohol, TV, on your phone. You can do it at a job, hanging out with people you don't really like. There's a million ways to be lost in this world. And sometimes remembering that it's limited can jolt us out of that haze and be like, oh yeah, I wanted to do this with my life. Let's go.